I am currently the VP of People Operations at a boutique investment bank based in San Francisco. I've been in the investment banking industry for about 5 years in various HR leadership roles. Previously, I was in the management consulting industry where I worked for nearly 14 years at Bain & Company, and I worked across various HR functional areas from recruiting, talent management, performance management, benefits, compensation. You named it, pretty much touched it if it's part of the HR universe. And so all in all, about 20 years of HR experience.
What would be some things or some tips that you would share with people around, if you're potentially newly unemployed, or if you're considering, going back in and looking for new opportunities?
Focus on the things that you can control and do right now. And there are definitely things you can start doing. That is one. Focus on what your plan would be, creating that plan and that vision. So is that and what type of industry is that you want to focus on? What type of roles? What kind of culture you want to work at? So create your list of priorities, your wish list. Do you want autonomy? Are you achievement driven? Is money going to be the motivator for you? Write your wish list. Don't edit yourself. Just think of all the things that you would make you really, really happy. It's completely open. Don't edit yourself. Brainstorm. And then all the things you don't want, making sure that you want to stay away from. And as you start clarifying what things are important to you, you can kind of create a plan of attack. And, one of the things, I did career coaching for about 6 years in my past life. And one of the things I always used to tell people is don't run for greener pastures in the sense of, I'm trying to get out of a bad situation. You might be trying to get out of a bad situation, but the focus should be on where do I want to go? If I could have the best job based on my strengths in my ideal environment, what would that look like? So map that out for yourself. That's one thing you could definitely do now. The second thing you can start doing now is network. Talk to people you know. Ask them who else they know that they can introduce you to. Expand your network. We should, in an ideal world, we should always be working our network, not just when we need a job or thinking about getting a job, but especially, as you get more senior in your career, you actually have things to offer people. It's a little bit harder when you're coming out of college to network, right? Because you have nothing to offer. You're just ask. But after you have a couple jobs under your belt, 10, 15 years, 20 years under your belt, you actually have some knowledge. You have equity that you can share with others. So don't forget that. Even if you are unemployed, and Americans in particular really identify themselves based on what they do. And so this is just a reminder to you all that might be unemployed, and especially if you've recently lost your job. That is a big hit sometimes to your confidence and your ego. And let me remind you, you are the same person you were a week ago or a year ago when you had that amazing job and people looked for you for advice. And the same person that got hired to do that job. So that skill, that knowledge is still with you. You might not have the title and the place of employment today, but you have that knowledge, that's equity that you have. And you can leverage that in networking today and tomorrow, and look for opportunities to expand your network now, and to give as well as ask for support and guidance. And so along with that, networking is researching. So as you create your idea board of what you want to pursue, start researching some of those companies and or industries. As you're talking to people and you're like, wow, that job sounds amazing. I want a job like that. Dig into that a little bit more. Find more people that have done that job. Find out what they liked and didn't like about it. Does it continue as you do your research to continue to be aligned with your values, aligned with your skills and strengths? And one of the things I would like to highlight here that's very gender specific, and this is kind of something for the women part of your audience to focus on, is study after study shows that when a woman applies for a job, she will not apply for that job unless she 100% checks all the boxes. And so men tend to not put themselves under that level of scrutiny. And so this is just a shout out to the women is, look, if you have 90% or even 80% of the skills, apply for the job. If it's your dream job and you have 80% Apply for the job. It is not uncommon that people hire someone that didn't 100% check the box, right? Because sometimes there are things that you weren't on your list that you realize in the interview process were more important. I'm guilty of this as a hiring manager and a recruiter, and I know others are. So don't put yourself in a situation where there's this great job and you're like, okay, but I don't have that one certification, or I haven't ever done this specific software.
Right.
But you do everything else, then apply for the job.
Those are all so valuable. Great.